are. Hi, everyone. Susan Morgan Taylor back here with you for another little blurb, a little tip that I want to give you. I'm a specialist in women's sexuality and sex therapist for couples experiencing mismatched libido for over a decade. That's been the work that I've been doing. Thanks so much for joining me live, y'all. Good to see you guys here. I want to share with you just a little piece of information around midlife and one of the reasons why some marriages fall apart when women go through the menopause transition. I was just popping into a Facebook group a few weeks back for women at menopause, and I was amazed at how many posts there were in that group, or some of these groups, actually. I was in several of them, just, poking around, getting some support for myself, connecting with other women going through this amazing life change. But I was amazed at how many women were commenting on the impact on their relationship due to some of the challenges that they've been having as a result of menopause. So I'm talking about things like lost lubrication, losing sensitivity, orgasm becoming more difficult, and also sometimes, in a lot of these cases, a waning interest in sex. So just where the libido just starts to decline. And it was really sad because some of these women were literally facing the possibility of losing the relationship. Things were just falling apart. And not to mention just the frustration that her husband was feeling over not being able to have that part of their marriage really joyful and harmonious. And the distress that some of these women were under because of the threat of losing that part of the relationship. And also for some of them, the very real threat of possibly losing the marriage, having the marriage come to an end because of the lack of sexual activity as a result of menopause. And I really am a huge proponent of marriages staying together, relationships thriving. And sex, as many of us know, it's like sex and money are the two biggest reasons why a lot of marriages and relationships fail. It's the biggest causes of divorce. That's really what it comes down to. So I kind of look at myself sort of in the business of saving marriages. I've had clients tell me that you saved our marriage. I don't take credit for that because it's always the client that does the work. But when I read stuff like this, especially around the menopause transition and the very, very real pain that it can cause sexual relationships, it hurts me because I know that it doesn't have to be that way. And there is a solution to avoiding that outcome. Now, there's a lot of resources out there, obviously, way more today than there were 20 years ago for women going through the transition. But what I've also found is that there's so much overwhelm and so much confusion. There's so many products and supplements and different hormones, and there's so much coming at women to try to solve some of these common challenges that it just can get completely overwhelming and it gets exceptionally expensive. And so, what I want to say is, we don't have to break the bank, and we also don't have to become overly dependent on external resources to help us maintain sensitivity, to help us stay wet and juicy and alive, and ultimately to help us save our marriage, to save our relationship, to be able to get back to that place where there's that mutual enjoyment in sex and intimacy, where we're getting nourished by that connection with our partner. It's really sad when that goes away and when women and men are at a loss for what to do about that. It doesn't have to be that way. And so, one of the solutions that I offer is a program for women. It's an 8-week online course that I'm actually right now in the process of creating. It's not really going to go fully live out there in the world until January, but I'm in the process of putting this together where I'm going to be sharing with you my proven roadmap, practical education, and pleasurable practices that don't require you to spend lots of money on supplements or products or really anything. Everything is within your own body. And so I have a roadmap system that I'm going to be teaching you and sharing with you to help you get back to what you had. Or maybe you're at a place where you're just kind of at the beginning of this transition and you're like, oh my God, I don't want this to happen to me. This will also show you how to maintain what you already have and how to help you have more easy access to orgasm. If orgasm, sometimes it happens because of the change in the hormones. We get the decline in estrogen and we lose sensitivity. As a result of that, the tissues can become thin and dried out in our vaginas. We can also lose that the sensitivity and the access to orgasm can also become sort of elusive. Another reason for that is lack of blood flow in the genitals. As we age and get older, the nerve endings pull away from the skin, the blood vessels shrink, there's not as much vitality and flow happening in our genitals. And so it can make orgasm feel like all of a sudden you have to work for it, or maybe you're just not able to reach orgasm, or your partner's not really able to get there as easily anymore. And that can lead to the need for all kinds of things that maybe weren't really part of your sex life before. Maybe you've tried lubes or tried to bring in toys, and it just can make it a lot more complicated and like a lot more hoops to jump through. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I have a course called the Pleasure Revival Experience. And what I want to share with you right now is I actually have space for I have 7 more spots left for some founding members who might like to come in and get in at the ground level right now before the course launches in January at a huge savings. So I'm offering this at like a 67% savings right now for these next 7 women who are interested in joining me. Thing is, this offer ends tomorrow. It's time limited. I've been jumping on here with you each day live this week to share with you a little bit about it. I do have some spots left, and I'm giving you a huge savings on that. So if you're a woman watching and you're resonating with what I'm saying and you'd like to find a holistic, natural, 100% natural, doesn't require any kind of external stuff that you're putting in your body or on your body. It's a way to get you back to that aliveness where you'll be able to have easier access to orgasm, more sensitivity, natural lubrication. Drop in the comments right now the word revive. Now, if you're a man watching this and you're married or in a relationship with a woman who's going through some of these transitions at midlife with menopause and you're feeling really frustrated by the impact that's having on you and your relationship, share this with her. If she wouldn't take offense to it, it's going to be a very beautiful experience that I'm really excited to offer. And it literally is a pathway that could save your marriage. It can bring harmony and fun and bring that part of your relationship back online. So if intimacy has kind of like gone to the back burner in the past, where she's going through the change and you don't know what to do and you're feeling lost or overwhelmed or grabbing at straws or this thing's working and that thing's not working. What I can tell you is the roadmap that I have and the practice that I teach inside of this program is it's holistic, it's natural, and I know that it works and it's not going to break the bank. So it's really going to be a very beautiful, pleasurable way to get that part of the relationship back online where she's working on herself. Women, if you're watching this, this is a time to give deeply to yourself and to really find your pleasure, to get that back online. And the awesome thing is it benefits your partner as well. One of the things I have found as I've worked in women's sexuality over the last decade, for over a decade working with women and couples, for us women, our sexuality and our pleasure tends to not be as relevant to us if we're not in a relationship. So a lot of times we're such natural givers and we do so much for everybody else that we're more motivated a lot of times to do something if it's going to benefit our partner. Like that's just tends to be the motivation. And I know that that fear of impacting the relationship is a huge thing that's on our minds as women. So what I want to say is that by learning these practices that I'm going to teach you and by giving more deeply to yourself, and learning to activate your pleasure and your lubrication and your orgasm and your sensitivity, it is so fun and it's so pleasurable for you. The really great thing is that your partner also benefits. So I'm going to leave it at that. But if you've resonated with what I'm saying, or if you know somebody who you think would be like, wow, like they need this, now is the time to get in as a founding member for this program. It's launching this January 2026. But right now, until Friday, November 14th, which is tomorrow, I have a very special offer where you can get in at the ground level for a huge savings. So if you want more information on that, drop the word revival in the comments below. You can also shoot me a private message. I'll be happy to get you the link that way. And thank you so much for watching. I am going to be back on here with you tomorrow at noon Eastern time with a Q&A session. So if you've got questions or things that you would like me to shoot the shit with you about, go ahead and drop that in the chat as well, or send me a DM. Give me some ideas. Let me know, like, what's the question on your mind? What are you curious about? And I'll be going live with you tomorrow to answer some of those questions. So thanks so much for joining me. Let's get it on. I'll see you guys next time.